It is one thing to be the root cause of a problem and another to be a person who does not act like one. In crypto, risks are inevitable. You enter the industry with the belief that your money will grow even if you do not do anything or exert any effort. But along with this partial truth is the fact that you are playing a dangerous game by investing your assets into something that holds no genuine ground on what the future might be. You can either be celebrating with your pockets full or crying because they have gone empty. There are also situations when projects get trashed and go bankrupt for many different reasons, and this is something that falls under the risk that an investor should prepare himself before actually putting in his assets. While projects failing are not uncommon in this space, it is important for accountability to still be upheld, especially by those who are at the forefront of the project's failures. When a person displays hubris instead of guilt, even in the midst of failure, can we really expect growth? This is Diversified Streams, your go-to YouTube channel for all things crypto. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest news and tips related to crypto, and make sure to keep your notifications on so you'll be updated with our latest videos. We post frequently so you wouldn't want to miss it. In today's video, we will be talking about Kwon and what he had said regarding the fall of Terra, which ultimately became the reason for the loss of jobs and livelihood of so many people. We also have a few updates to share with you guys, so let's go ahead and talk about each of them. When Terra failed miserably, it did not go down alone. It went down together with the people who invested in it and even created it. However, one person remained standing and proud amid the tragic event, and that is no other than the CEO of Terraform, Kwon. As he breaks his silence and continues to speak of what actually happened, the people who built the software from the ground up as they are facing the wrath of the law. Just a few weeks before the collapse happened, Kwon showed no trace of guilt and remorse. He even said in an interview that there is a special sort of entertainment in seeing companies dying because of the multitude of entities trying to get into the space. A truly problematic behavior coming from someone, but it seems like he isn't really unaware of his actions, as Kwon calls his behaviors super irrational when he witnessed the growth of Terra as an ecosystem that's valued at $100 million. Kwon went on to say that he doesn't know what he will do if Terra ever were to fall. And yet we are seeing him almost unperturbed despite the whole ecosystem crashing down. This behavior is not something that you would expect a CEO to display, and yet we are seeing the likes of Kwon doing it so effortlessly. While he does take responsibility for the downfall and mistakes that ultimately led to the closure of Terra, Kwon still made a point about a person exploiting the information they have in order to gain profit. Kwon proceeds to tell people that he is down infinite and that there are not many people in the world who dwell with the same predicament that he has. Despite him talking as if the whole world came crashing on him, Kwon did not have it the worst, as many of the people who invest their time and skill set into Terra are either spending time in jail or living a life in bankruptcy. He is currently in legal trouble as he faces allegations of fraud in South Korea. But given the fact that he is still able to appear comfortably and give out interviews tells just how easy he is taking this all in. Moving on to an update that I want to share with you, this is all about Tornado Cash, which we had initially made a report of a few videos back. So if you remember, the US Treasury had pledged to ban Tornado Cash in all of the US, but Coin Center seems to have other plans as they prepared a legal challenge to the sanctions that the US government had initially thought of giving to Tornado Cash. The leading policy think tank in crypto has presented a sound argument regarding the sanctioning of the decentralized transaction mixer Tornado Cash. They believe that smart contracts are not within the jurisdiction of the US Treasury's authority and thus should not be deemed as sanctionable entities. Essentially, you would not be able to put a sanction on numbers that are virtually presented on screen. So if the US Treasury were ever to sweep this argument under the rug, it could be harmful for coders all over the world, whether or not affiliated with crypto. Coin Center expounded on this argument through a blog post that they published last August 15, stating that treating a code much like a person is OFAC, exceeding its authority as a governing body. It could be remembered that a smart contract is what runs Tornado Cash as well as the wallets linked to the coders that were working behind the project. So that is why Coin Center is raising an issue with the US Treasury sanctions, because it should not be allowed for a smart contract to be sanctioned. Furthermore, Coin Center believes that what Treasury intends to do is a signal to criminalize the use of these types of tools and softwares, even if they are serving a legitimate purpose and are not fraudulent in any way. This notion is currently being studied, and thus further updates will be provided in the videos to follow. However, there is some truth in the fact that it might be potentially dangerous for coders all over the world if smart contracts are to be officially sanctioned. What do you think about this whole Tornado Cash and Kwon issue, guys? Do you think that it is becoming more of a threat nowadays and that it may impede the growth in all of crypto? Let us know what you think by sharing them in the comments down below. Also, while you're at it, show us some love and appreciation by giving this video a big thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. It helps us big time with the algorithm, so you'll be doing us a big favor. Going back to the video, the next update I have for you is about Celsius and how they have apparently lied on their company's balance sheet. This news came from Simon Dixon, a crypto entrepreneur who saw some sort of discrepancies in the value of Cell, the platform's token. It was not long after Dixon found out about this that they eventually gave in and confessed that they have lost over 64,000 Bitcoin in wrapped Bitcoin, which is actually 64% of all their Bitcoin debt. Now, they are making people believe that they only had a deficiency of $1.2 billion from having a total of $4.2 billion in assets and $5.5 billion in liabilities. This proved to be untrue though, because the recent report about Celsius actually states that the company has assets amounting to $3.8 billion and liabilities amounting to $6.6 billion. This makes their deficit amount to $2.85 billion in actuality, more than half of what they initially reported. This is truly frustrating news to hear, especially when transparency and objectiveness are what we hope to achieve in this community. The final update I have for you guys is about the Polkadot-based DeFi platform Akala, which has recorded a fall of 99% after hackers were able to penetrate its defenses and release a total of 1.3 billion tokens. Due to a bug in the protocol's IBTC-USD liquidity pool, hackers were able to enter their system and unfortunately successfully exploit almost all of its assets, causing the 99% decline. The stablecoin was supposed to be pegged to $1, but after the events that transpired, its value declined to a measly 0.009 cents. Truly devastating, and it definitely shows the importance of assessing the platforms for bugs because these things can hurt your asset massively. And that's it for today's video. I hope you found today's content insightful and informative. If you did, you can show us some love and support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Make sure to have your notifications open so you'll be updated when we post our videos. Thank you very much for tuning in, and see you in our next video.